So now, was this a big challenge for your firm at AIS? Because weight loss seems like there's a gazillion searches on
There's a
that.
lot of competition for that keyword, and if you were to buy that keyword, to say on Google pay per click, it'd be very expensive. So the first thing we look at is what would it actually cost to purchase that word, and does it
So
make
what,
sense?
do you know off the top of your head about what that word or that
There are a lot
phrase?
of versions of that word.
Right.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but
But is it like $1 or is it like
no, it's going to be a lot more
or
than
is
a
it like
dollar.
$100?
If it were a dollar, I mean, we'd be set. I mean, some of these words will range from $12 to $27 per click. So, and that's not a conversion. That's not a
right,
patient.
that's just
that's a
like
click. Yeah, that's
just
somebody visiting the page.
And that's something I don't think everybody realizes. This pay-per-click starts adding up, and especially if
Yeah.
you're after some competitive keywords. Like I
That's
know,
right.
what was it? We were looking up the what was it? The personal injury.
Mhm.
Those terms.
Oh, yeah.
Those could be
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah.
I mean, pay-per-click isn't cheap.
Right. So, the end has to justify the means.
Right.
If you're a personal injury attorney and a case can earn you, $400,000 or $500,000,
Right.
then
So
paying
then they'll
$20,
spend
$30
$100.
a click
Right.
might be okay.
Right.
But does it make sense? So often when our clients are running pay-per-click programs, the programs have been running and they're paying Google and no one's really monitoring it, and they're paying for a lot of keywords that don't convert. So often we're able to save them money by reducing their spend and actually increasing the conversions just by focusing on better keywords. Also knowing that if a word is going to cost $30 a click, that's fantastic content to build that word around. So if we're talking weight loss clinic, if someone's searching for Dr. Semel, well, Dr. Semel should be found no matter what,
Right,
on
that
the
should be
paid
easy,
and the
right.
organic side. Because the better you brand yourself and your practice, the more people are going to be searching for you. But often what we tend to find is that, organizations and companies ignore that part and competitors jump right on your own keywords. If we weren't paying attention, a competitor could be writing content about Dr. Semel and getting his patients or his potential patients.
Right. And sending it to their website.
Yeah, because, patients today are, they're not that technically savvy. One survey showed that about 60-70% of website or internet users today on Google can't distinguish the difference between a free listing and a paid listing. They don't know what's paid, what's free anymore. At the very top of Google, you see the little chicken next to the word that says ad. But
That's
below
a
that,
tip off.
well, yeah, that's a clue, but people don't, they
Right.
just scan, they don't pay attention. Then you have listings in the maps section. And Google now limits those to 3. You will only see 3 maps, three businesses listed in maps. It used to be 7, but Google's reduced that. But people don't know, are those free? Are those paid?
Right. What are they?
What's organic?
Are
What's
those
not?
free or paid? Or are they paid?
Yeah. So ideally, you want to have a presence in all of those sections, in the map
Right.
section, in the organic section, ideally in the pay-per-click if it makes sense. But to look at that holistically and put, organize that all into a cohesive strategy that is monitored every month.
Right. And that's an important part. That this, again, isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Right.
You got to be managing this constantly because, like you mentioned earlier, Google's changing their
Right.
way of doing business probably daily, I would think.
They make about 400 changes to their algorithms every single year. Most of them we'll never really notice, and they're usually a couple big ones.
Well, they are noticeable. And aren't there some stories where some people used to rank highly and then they made some change and all of a sudden they disappear from the...
Oh, yeah. Or they launch a brand new website and suddenly traffic declines 60 to 70% within 30 days because the company that they hired are fantastic artists and designers, but they never took SEO and marketing into consideration. So Google literally on their site states the best time to do SEO or to hire an SEO or to talk about SEO is before and during website design, not after. And it's important to, just circling back to Dr. Semel's practice, a new patient isn't just a one-time patient, right? It's a total lifetime value of that new patient. So that's a very, very important engagement because they may start with weight loss and then become educated as to why they're gaining weight in the first place. It's not really their fault necessarily.
Right.
So that's where social media comes in, to keep those patients engaged so the staff can then continue to interact with them on a
Right, because
regular
ultimately
basis.
the best referral is one of their friends or family. Right?
Precisely.
And the more of those you get, then the better it is for everybody.
Well, we've built our practice pretty much on referrals. That's where most of it comes from. Besides
And
the
doing
internet
good work helps in that area, right?
I would think so. Yes.
That's a
Right.
good secret sauce.
Most of the patients that come to us, they say to me, "Why do you have bad reviews on Yelp when you do such great work?"
Right.
Right. So
Competitors don't like us, so yeah, if it's easier for a competitor to set up an anonymous profile and badmouth you to
Right.
the average consumer,
Well,
they don't know the difference.
And especially if these review sites aren't as discerning as you'd like them to be,
Right.
then they're almost encouraging that behavior.